Why hello there, fellow painters. Rodamont here. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan. Episode 53, Reworking Internal Plumbing and Color Coding. Now the next part of this equation is to hook it up to the intakes for the filters. So, let's print up some new pipes. You know, actually, I'm going to do one housekeeping thing first, and then we'll do that. There's one little, very small housekeeping thing that I would really like to address, which I think you might all appreciate. So where's my iron? Over here? Ferns, are you? I'll check on the ferns in a minute. What I wanted to do is move this locker. I feel like this locker's in a bad spot. I don't use it frequently, and it wouldn't be like the end of the world to just put stuff back there. So that's my plan, is to move this, because I never intended for this locker to be like, I don't know why I'm keeping potato seeds, but for this locker to be here long term, it just kind of happened, and I don't like it, so I'm going to change it. I also see, like, the need for a recycler. I get it, because, like, I have a lot of junk that I just don't use, and recycling it makes a whole lot of sense, too. But one of the big reasons to move this is if I want to hook up gas monitoring for my base, this locker is blocking like the Voltals area, and so getting this moved will help in the long run for like base gas filtering and the like. Lots of junk in the trunk? Yeah. There's some misprints, some things I didn't use, some small stacks of stuff. I haven't been tossing stuff outside to just get like burned up from Atmo. And as a result, I ended up with like a lot of stuff I don't necessarily need. Some of it, not all of it. Some of the stuff here, like the steel sheets and plastic sheets and steel frames, like obviously I'm going to use that at some point. Oops, didn't mean to keep that. And I'll print up a few more pipes because I'm sure I'll need them when trying to hook up the new gas intake line with the current filters. And the, like, super junk of stuff, like, I never use, I can really put away now that I have more locker space. So, like, the potato seeds, if I cared to, I could throw back here, knowing I might want potato seeds in some sort of, like, food emergency or something, but, like, I certainly don't need them anywhere near or accessible. You know, if I'm ever going to use them, I'm going to use them, like, maybe once, so it's not something I can just squirrel away. Alright, base is a lot more open as a result, because I don't have this, like, false wall in the middle of things. Getting rid of this portable air scrubber would be nice too, but I probably need a portable tank clamp to empty it out proper. Okay, let's go ahead and hook up the new intakes. So this is the waistline. So I'm going to rupture this. Oh, shoot. Put that pipe back. And here as well. This line matters. So that has to go like there, but that has to get unplugged, which is a little awkward because I'm gonna have to move things, obviously, because the unfiltered for the volatiles is messed up now. So there's some reconfiguring that needs to be done. But basically, the CO2 is off network completely, and we're gonna try to hook it up there. And then to make things simple, the intake for the volatiles can just connect over to the CO2 over here. Well, maybe I'll actually use combo pipes. Because they're both drawing from the same input. Don't blow it up? Yeah, I don't plan on it. So this waistline, so just to explain what this line is. This line here is the 40 MPa heat dump line. Actually, it's a 45, 44 MPa because it's been heating up a lot, I suspect. And now that it's nighttime, this should be going up in volume, and it is 28.5. I might want to be outside just to override it in case it like whizzes by 40 MPa. So I'll go outside now with this this project in flux, because I'm gonna have to run the waistline not near the H2 filtration because it interrupts it. And I know I'm hungry. I want to go monitor the intake because if I get it wrong, it's way worse than being a little hungry. But yeah, this is going to have to connect to that. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's the old T-junction. Yeah, right. But you can kind of see the scavenging effect. I referenced this last week, that the super large powered intake vent has like a scavenging where it can pull air well beyond its like radius to flush into the filter. So this is the scavenging effect. In effect, you can see all the like the air lines. It's pulling air from a 13 by 13 by 13 cube. So it has a huge radius. And the reason why it's really particularly powerful is a regular vent. If you created like a long tube and put a regular active vent, the regular active vents require air to naturally flow into that last 1 by 1 by 1 meter square space for it to then start and then pressurize a little bit for it to then pull air into the network. This powered vent doesn't require it. So if there's a localized vacuum around it, it doesn't really care. It will lower the amount of intake, but it won't stop the intake. So that's why one of the reasons why it's so powerful is it can pull air even though there's like not really any technically air present. So it's hyper efficient in that way. Not power efficient, but and we are at 37. So it took like maybe one night and it will fill up. That's why like the pollutant buildup is not a big deal, because it happens like barely at all after first fill. Kind of sort of similar to like worrying about filling up a pool. If you have a swimming pool in your backyard or something and there's like chemicals on the walls of the pool, those chemicals will dilute the more water you add to the pool to the point where like eventually they don't matter. And that's a bad analogy, but that's at least the one I came up with. And what we're staring here is making sure that the pressure flags 0 and turns off the intake vent once. Oh yeah, it should have. Yep. 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 And it's off. It worked. Logic worked. It stopped at 40. And then it ever dips below. What's low? Filter? Oh yeah, one of my filters is dead. If it ever dips below 40, it will turn back on and then turn back off. And constantly top itself up. Because it's pulling in a little bit more pollutants, so it will fluctuate a little bit. So like right now it's off. So there's still airflow lines, because it like created a localized low pressure area as a result of its function. Plus, you know, there's other gas flow going on. But yeah, I would say the logic works. And now the ambient temperature is climbing because it's daybreak. So even though it is underneath, it's rounding, it's technically underneath 40 MPa by like a little bit. Yeah, it's 39.955. You can see in the logic reader. But because the temperature is too hot, it's also stopping the intakes. So yeah, logic, flawless. Logic worked. All right, let's eat and then fix the waste lines. Ooh, brownout. Copy that. That's probably the new ace. Oh, I don't like that sound. What's going on? Danger. Danger. Oh, the waistline is too full. Oh. So it's not like immediately rupture full, but I think having severed it here, this is the backflow. Yeah, okay, I know what happened. So it's pressure regulator's there, and it's not connected to the pressure regulator anymore. So it can't self-regulate. One thing I could do is flick on the outflow logic, I think. Oh no, it's not hooked up. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a hack job to fix this. And then I'll work to fix it for real. So this is the hack job to fix it. So this is the waistline? Yeah, that's the waistline. So once I've fixed the imminent danger, I'll explain what happened. Which is the heat waistline, it has a overflow of a backflow regulator there, which stops it from overpressurizing, which I had disconnected. So now it's fine. It's back to 40. It's fine. I had disconnected because it was plumbed, you know, in a spot that was sort of interconnected the CO2 filter. But problem avoided. Alright, back to the task. So one thing I wanted to check is, yeah, we are now 128 and 39.7, so it's outside temp already. I'm not really sure why there was brownouts while I was in the crew quarter. It's probably the air conditioners spiking. Almost assuredly, and I had acknowledged that it was a bad idea to put 4 new air conditioners on the same network that was already, like, not happy with the amount. But with that said, once the temperature in that intake tank is lower, it's not going to have to constantly cycle the air conditioners as hard. So it's a problem that will go away over time anyway. Okay, so let's try to wire up the waste line so that it is not interfering with our hydrogen line. So what that is this orange line here, which is the, let's call it the 530, needs to hook up to here, essentially. And maybe... So, I think, backing up a little bit, where do we need the waste? So we need the waste for the water coolant loop. And for the air conditioners. And as a result, I don't really think we need that line, like, in the base anymore. Right? Because, yeah, we really don't. So I'm gonna hack it apart a bit. Knowing I am gonna break a lot of stuff before I fix a lot of stuff. So there. That's hooked up. This is still the waistline. So this is the other spot that needs to get picked up. And I think I'll just create a vertical pipe from here. Is that going to block? No, it's not going to block anything important. So what we want to do is connect that, ignoring this old plumbing that hasn't been removed, connect that orange to the orange tank over here. And then once that's done, my ACs are going to break for a minute, but once that's done, this waste... Oh, is there actually gas in this thing? I did not break it down. Yeah, there is. Okay, let's fix that, because that's going to rupture if I don't treat that smart. Trying to think of order operations here. I might need some more piping, because I have to build in some redundancies for, like, pressure reasons. But essentially, outside, that orange connects to, like, this orange. And then we're done. There's also a T section there that doesn't need to be there anymore. So let's get rid of that. Yeah, my propellant's low. True, I've been jetting around a lot. Okay, let's connect those two sections outside, and then start to remove all the unnecessary plumbing in the correct incremental order inside to remove that waistline from running around inside the base, because we don't need it in the base anymore. So again, it's that connect to that. It's not that hard. Ignoring, what is that? Oh, that's the, yeah, okay. This is, so it's this one connecting that one. This one is the new line, the new intakes, which is going to connect to that. God, all right, yeah, it seems simple, but I get that it's confusing. And it's about to be even more jank looking, because I'm just going to, like, have these go up and over. So those two oranges have to connect to one another. It will be the TLDR. And this line here is a heat dump line. Basically, it is gas that we dump heat into through AC loops and then recycle periodically. So those are connected. It looks stupid, but it's fine. And now we can start removing the plumbing from inside so that it's more tidied up indoors. That's the good news, is inside the base, it's getting better. So if we are removing it in sequence, I'll move it here. And then remove it backwards. And now we don't have this waistline blocking the hydrogen unfiltered. Plus, it will just ultimately look a lot cleaner. Okay. So to walk you through the changes, previously, the carbon dioxide and the hydrogen filters, which gives the base carbon dioxide and hydrogen to run, pulled from a heat dump line, pulled from a source of gas which was hot, unnecessarily hot. And we are rewiring it so that it pulls from a cooler gas source here. And already the temperature difference between the two is like 70 degrees. So it's, as time goes on, it will get even better. But because the unfiltered lines here were like wired in, I needed to change how they were hooked up. So now the unfiltered hydrogen line can feed back here, because if it's unfiltered, it just means it's carbon dioxide instead. We don't want to dump it anywhere because it's already heat-treated carbon dioxide. So that's what it looks like. So if it's volatiles, it goes into this holding tank. If it's carbon dioxide, it goes into that holding tank. And if it's not, it just goes back into the loop. Now, the loop itself, the intakes for the loop, are not hooked up yet. So this orange pipe needs to connect to that orange pipe. And that's the next phase of this setup. And once that's done, this project is done, if I'm not mistaken. Is the waistline for the water production hooked up? I'll double check that too. So that is... Oops, I moved too far. Where is the... Oh, yeah. Sorry, so this is the line that we want. This is the cooler carbon dioxide and volatile mix. And we want it to connect to the intake here. Oh, you know, I need to, shoot. Yeah, hold on. There's still residual gas in the CO2 intake. There's still, so essentially what I'm saying is there's gas in this thing that I don't want in, because it's bad gas. We're gonna need to Activent flush that pipe out, which is annoying, but it's a temporary fix. So let's get an Activent. Shouldn't the pollutant filter get it out? Yeah, but it's hot and pressurized, and I don't want it. Because it's hot, pressurized, and has wrong gases in it. For all those reasons, I do not want it. And it's easy enough to just, like, dump it to outside. Invert and Activent, flush, done. So we'll stick an Activent, like, on the ceiling and just, like... Oh, actually, there's already an orange line right there. So that orange line that's not hooked up to anything, let's, Activent flush from it. And there we go. You can see that's trying to top up to temp. So there should be a valid... Okay, here we go. I don't want it... We want an active vent, like, around here, but it's... I can't tell what's on the other side. That'll work. Doesn't need to be... Oh, no, not that. Doesn't need to be perfect, just... I want to get that gas out. I'm glad I checked that before, because otherwise we'd be introducing hot, pressurized, polluted gas mix into... a source we didn't want. And apparently there's already a merge there, so I'll go inside and see... Because I want to make sure I'm not screwing something up. Go inside and see where it's merging to. Also so I know how to put it back. Yeah, it's just the pressure regulator for the volatiles. No problem. Bigger project than I thought, but this is the, like, kind of the quote-unquote right way to have set it up in the first place that we just never got around to. It was just a continual, like, stopgap system that we had. So this fixes the stopgap system. And yeah, there is a 40 MPa cooler than ambient gas source now. And it's only going to get cooler and cooler and cooler. Now, there might be a need to separate that off on its own separate power grid, so it doesn't keep browning out everything, if that is indeed what's happening, which I think it is. But, alright, this pipe network is completely empty. Yep. This vent has done its job. I'll fix the cabling once I'm inside. But now, this is the intake for CO2 and for volatiles. And in order to get this wired up, it just needs to be plumbed to this line. Done. I think we are done. I'll double check things, make sure everything's wired up correctly, but yep. There we go. It's the same. So now this network is the 960. This 960 is our new volatile and CO2 intake, which is pressurized here, cooled over there, and then heat dumped into this insulator tank, which is like, that tank is hot. Here's a coolant loop. Okay, cool. So let's make sure that the water line is hooked up correctly, because there was questions about whether I had done that. And then we can move on to the next stage, which is to foolproof the base a little bit with, like, sensors and alarms to make sure that I catch issues before they happen, rather than after they've already killed off crops or something blown up or whatever. Alright, so the heat dump for the water is correct. Actually, what? Oh, no, the water heat dump line... What is... This is 728? And this is 852. They're two separate lines now? And they aren't supposed to be. I don't think. So for reference, this is the water coolant air conditioner. Basically, I have a small tank of just like random atmospheric gas that's cooled to help cool the water as it's being produced in the evaporation or the condensation chamber. But the heat line here is incorrect. So this is the heat dump line for the cooler on this thing and the cooler in my crew quarter, and it is no longer connected to this heat line. Well, this heat line, sorry. So 852 needs to connect to that. So, yep, let's correct that. Not too hard to do. Just figure out where the two are closest and merge them. So I think the water waste line... Where's the other heat dump? Heat dump's here. The pipe closest to it is maybe this one? God, this is becoming mega spaghetti. But, yeah, let's just run a pipe from that corner over to the heat dump line. In the most mega spaghetti way possible. And, probably... Trying to think of where to pick up the line here. Yeah, maybe here. Didn't want to block the view, but it's not a big deal. So yeah, those two pipes just need to connect to one another. Not that complicated, but the heat dump line got severed into two sections, and I'm trying to merge the sections. $111. It would help if the waste heat line was all black or something. I could do that. I could get a spray gun and spray it once I'm done. I think that would make sense at this point to fix a lot of the confusion. And a paint gun lets you get more bang for your buck out of the paint, and it pollutes a little bit less. Spray gun, rather. So we can do it with a spray gun. Does mean I'm going to be polluting inside, but like we have air scrubbers for it, so it's not something I'm going to fret about. Yeah, we could do brown. We could do brown for the heat waste line. That way it's not like orange upon orange upon orange. And I can also color code some of the other things. So that's reasonable just to get a handle on things. I'll do that next. Here's the spray gun. And you stick a spray can in there, and it makes the, no, don't make two. Oh, frick. Swore I stopped it, but apparently I didn't. Well, we have 8 steel now. Yay! It will make it, it'll stretch it better. and pollute less. No, that's not what I meant to do. Dang it. Well, whatever. It's now brown. Let's start filtering pollutants out the base. And I'll spray paint this once the two lines connect. Oh, we have a storm coming too. Got it. Now I can graffiti with two hands? Unfortunately, no. You can't dual wield in this game. Well, you can make it look like you're dual wielding, but it doesn't work. Okay, that could have been a 10. Yeah, it could have been a 10. Okay. Hypothetically, this is now the unioned waistlines. 089. And let's start color coding them for our brain. So this is the this is the heat dump line. And because it's heat dump, we're coloring it heat dump colored. Now the plumbing out here is like far less necessary than the plumbing inside. The plumbing inside is vents or whatever you want to call it, ducts. More important. It's my 85. Yeah, you can really stretch paint. Okay, I think that's all the heat dump out here that needed to be painted. Yeah, believe so. Alright, inside we go. Oh, hitbox. There we go. One of the issues is some of it runs in the farm, and I'm like not certain I want to paint in the farm. So what I could do is I can create a master pipe and uninstall, reinstall, which would be a cleaner way to do it. So heat lines, then the heat dump continues. Actually, we can trace it with the Atmo Analyzer. So this is 089. So the other 089 is over here. So this loop and this loop is also 089. So we have a lot of 089 to spray over yonder. You dump a lot of heat to that thing. Now, if I was trying to be... oh, that is incorrect. That's not 089. So, I shouldn't have sprayed those. Yeah, I suppose I'll fix that. If we are, if I was being smart about this, I would probably upgrade the system so that we would, so that we would flush the heat dump tanks with like a mega vent, and that would fix a lot of the issues that we have. So this is 089. So this is the nice intake gas line, the new one. This is still the 089 line. All right. I think all the 089 lines are now brown, which helps out a lot. You can see the CO2 loops and the coolant loops. For my base coolant, while we're on this topic, I am going to paint those two. And I'll paint the base coolant color like khaki, because I haven't used khaki yet. So the khaki lines is going to be this one. This is like the base coolant line. To separate it out from, so what was this? 019? To separate it out from the CO2 lines. Because technically it has CO2 in it, but I'm not treating it as CO2, I'm treating it as coolant. And this should really help people be able to, like, visualize everything a lot better. I think. So, 019. And this coolant loop is what goes through all of the radiators to chill the radiator inputs. So that all the other gases that we have in the base become temperate. So yeah, all the 019 is khaki, I think. It's a pretty small loop, but it's our base coolant loop.
Hydration critical.
All right, let's deal with hydration. And then we'll paint the rest of the farm from brown to orange. But I don't want to die for ignoring my vital needs. Yeah, it's a little easier to understand at a glance. It's something I should have done a long time ago. I was avoiding trying to, like, pollute the base, but a little bit of pollution for a huge benefit of colors helps. So, like, this should also be brown, obviously. I just don't want to paint in here because this is a controlled environment, as is the greenhouse. So I'll have to create a master pipe and then change the color of the pipes and re-hook it up so that I don't pollute. So, master brown pipe time. Oh, and we got an ash storm. So the actual pollutant in the base, there's a little bit here and there, and it will get filtered out as long as this unit is powered, which obviously I just fixed the low battery. Okay. I wonder if that changed the number. Yeah. 1, 2, 3 now. And when I do it in the farm, it will change it again. It would be really nice if you could label it with a labeler. Like, you can label certain big things like rockets with a labeler, but you can't with the HVAC. And while I'm in here, I can also check on plant health. So, it's got water. And the fern seeds are ready to be harvested, so I need to address that. And then the atmosphere in here is fine. Nitrogen, CO2, yeah, it's fine. Okay, the official designation for the waistline number is now 161. And that thing is hot. It really needs to get dumped. But that's out of scope of what I'm working on right now. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel. I made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow Vulcanites.